now it is visible.
All right. So Manju, whenever you're going to compile program, you have to type Java C, right?
Yeah.
So this is the software in which you don't need to type Java C. You need to press Control plus 1, it will compile. Control plus 2, it will run.
Okay.
Got it? It's very easy.
Okay.
Rather than to type every time path.
Okay.
Okay. So this is our content. I think now it's visible to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This PDF I have prepared to show you the content, what you can learn in Java.
Okay.
So in this training period, our main focus to learn core Java. Okay.
Okay.
So you can develop any application, window application, web application, mobile application. I already told you, you can develop mobile application also after core Java. And in short, if I want to discuss, these are the content like OOP concept, inheritance, constructor, interfaces, abstract class, super keyword, this keyword, static, final keyword, method overloading, method overriding, applet, AWT, and swing. And after core Java, you can develop one project also using AWT and swing. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Did you work in AWT and swing earlier?
No.
Okay, it's very important. We will develop one project also. Okay.
Yes.
Next is event handling, then exception handling, input output handling, multi-threading, string buffer, string builder, string tokenizer, which we discussed in last lecture.
Okay.
Then JDBC, Java database connectivity. Did you implement database connectivity in your project,
JDBC.
which you developed in HTML, CSS, PHP?
No idea.
No,
No, sir.
I'm asking you, when you develop project, did you implement database connectivity or not?
Yeah. JDBC. I don't think so.
JDBC is a concept in Java, but if you are, when you were making project, that was different technology, right?
Yes.
Okay. So do you have an idea of SQL structure query language?
No.
Okay, we have to learn first SQL, then we can do database connectivity. Okay.
Okay.
Then collection framework, I also discussed in last lecture. It's related to data structure, like implementation of stack, queue, list, queue. Okay.
Okay.
Annotation is very important concept in Java. And then file handling, method overloading, method overriding, garbage collection, bytecode. Do you know socket programming? Socket programming is used to do implementation chat application. If you are doing chat on WhatsApp, Facebook, do you know what is the concept behind the scene? Socket programming is implemented.
Okay, one file after going one file. No. So the number of files will be like some.
Sorry, what are you saying?
I have to remember like.
Okay. So this is just course content which I'm discussing with you. Okay.
Okay.
Now next topic is regular expression. You know, it is used to do pattern matching. For example, you are typing your email address. It will match the pattern. For example, abc@gmail.com. There should be @simple. There should be .com. Okay.
Yes.
Then typecasting and type promotion, very important concept in Java. Lambda expression is very important. It introduced in 1.8 version.
Okay.
This is the concept that comes under core Java.
Okay.
Our focus to complete this content, okay?
Okay, sir.
And then we will develop one project also in Core Java using AWT Swing.
Okay.
And there are a number of topics that comes under Advanced Java also, because you should have a very good idea about what are the basic content, like for web application servlet.
Okay.
These are the topics that comes under the category of servlet to implement business logic, cookies, session tracking, event listener, filter, okay, and JSP, Java Server Pages, and again, Java Database Connectivity, Ajax, Bootstrap classes. And this is the second concept of Advanced Java, Java Server Pages, scripting elements, implicit objects, directives, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the content which I prepared, right?
Yeah, this one. Yeah, that day you didn't show me this, but yeah, today. Yeah.
Yeah, actually at that day I was unable to find this file, so that's why I was typing manually.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yes. Yeah.
Because till now I have given training to number of students, so I have prepared this file.
Okay.
It will be beneficial to you.
Yes, sir. It's beneficial to me.
Okay.
It's
So
good.
first of all, your OOPS concept, right?
Yeah.
So this is the OOPS concept. Features of Java, you can say.
Okay.
Java is very simple language, okay?
Yes.
Object-oriented, portable, platform-independent, secure. We will discuss each and every feature, and with the passage of time, we will do practical also. So Java is very simple language. It means, according to Sun Microsystem, Java language is very simple because syntax is based upon C++. Did you implement? Did you practice in C++ or not?
I C++ I never did, sir, but C I did.
Yeah, C++ is similar to C and Java is similar to C++. If you didn't do C++, don't worry, right?
Okay.
Syntax is almost same, Java and C++. So basically syntax is based upon C++, removed many confusing features like explicit pointer, operator overloading, which were present in C++. So these features are not present in Java. Explicit pointer and operator overloading. Is it clear?
Yes.
If anyone asks you what are the features which are not available in Java, you can say explicit pointer and operator overloading, which makes program very complex.
Okay.
No need to remove unreferenced object because there is a automatic garbage collection. Manju, this is a very important concept.
Yeah.
In Java, you don't need to remove objects because in Java there is a automatic feature that is garbage collection. It removed unwanted object.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
This is the reason Java is very simple and object oriented. What are the features of object oriented? Object oriented programming is a methodology that simplifies software development and maintains by providing some rules. For example, objects, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. And one more thing, Java C++ is a object-oriented language, but Java is a pure object-oriented language. Okay.
Okay.
What is the reason it's pure? Can you tell me?
Pure object oriented. So, mm, okay.
You worked in C language, na?
Yeah.
In C, we can make any program without class.
Yeah. It supports like
Using just
some
main method. While
types. Yeah.
but in C++, we can make program without class and with class also. Okay.
Yeah. We
But
cannot program
in
with
Java,
object.
but in Java, we can make program only with classes. Without class, we cannot make any program. If we have a class, then we can create object. Okay. If we have object, then we can perform inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so Java is a pure object-oriented language, and these are the features that comes under the category of object-oriented object class. What is class?
A class is, I mean, it is a main.
Okay, yes.
So a class is like
Okay.
I mean, like it is like the whole it is a basic thing in the Java. Like without class, we cannot write a program. So we cannot. I mean, always with the class, it is like a basic uh, beginning
Okay.
of the object-oriented
All
program.
right. I make it little bit simple. First of
Yeah.
all, tell me what is encapsulation, because class and encapsulation, there is a combination. Okay, to learn this thing. What is encapsulation?
Yeah, encapsulation is a in encapsulation uh, encapsulation or abstraction. Encapsulation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. One is always confusing for me.
No issue,
Okay,
no issue
like
at all.
encapsulation is like we are hiding. I mean, we are hiding the classes. I mean, some variables in classes from other classes, and we can also, I mean, like access through methods and that other classes. Like, I mean, we are in encapsulation is basically like hiding some details and protecting data and
No.
like
You are little bit confused. You are talking about abstraction. Okay.
I'm talking about encapsulation.
No. You are giving definition of abstraction.
Oh, encapsulation, public, protected, private only, right?
No. These public,
Okay.
private, protected are access specifiers.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm just making this example very easier. First, I'm going to give example of class and encapsulation. There is a combination of both. Okay.
Okay.
Basically, class is a user-defined data type in which we can combine data member and member function. All right.
Okay.
Class is a user-defined data type. We can create any number of data member and member function. And what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is a process of combining data member and member function into a single class. If you are confused, what is the meaning? For example, I'm going to create one program, okay?
Okay.
For example, our class name is demo or room, okay?
Yeah.
So this is our class. I said class is a user-defined data type. I'm mentioning this thing in comment. Class is a user-defined data type. Okay. We can combine or add any number of data member and member functions. Okay.
Okay.
So what are data member and member function? That is a very important thing. For example, here I have a method int a comma b. Okay. These are data member. Got it?
Yeah.
Or we can say identifier. Okay.
Okay.
And data field also we can say. There are number of names. Variable also. Most important term, number of time we will use instance variable. Okay.
Okay.
What do you mean by instance? Instance means object.
Variables. Yeah.
Instance means
Yeah.
object. So that's why we can say class is a user defined data type. We can combine or add any number of data member and member function. Now we have an idea what are data member. These are data member. Okay.
Okay.
And now if I'm making any member function, public void input. Suppose I'm making any function. What is this? Member function. Okay. For example, I'm making another member function. It depends upon our requirement. We can create any number of, okay?
Okay.
Output like this, okay? So
Okay.
input and output are member functions.
Okay.
Member functions, okay? Or we can say methods. Now you have a clear idea of definition of class.
Yes.
So this is the class and I'm going to make, see, without any class, if you are making any class in Java, it cannot run without main method, okay?
Okay.
For example, here I'm going to create one main method, public static void main string args, okay?
Okay.
And in input and output, I'm just mentioning its input method and its output method. And I'm assigning one value also, a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, all right? And in output, I'm just mentioning system dot out dot println the value of a is plus a, okay? This is the syntax to print value of any identifier or variable.
Okay.
So this is the main method. Without main method, we cannot run any program. So in which name we have to save this class room? Class name is
Room.
room. For example, if in your program there are number of classes, in which class name you will save your program? In which where main method is present, only that class name you can save name, okay?
Yes.
For example, class name is room and I main method also present in this class, so I have to save this program room.java, okay?
Yeah.
Room.java. I'm just making any folder Java, okay, in which I'm going to save it. See, I'm just increasing the font. I will provide you this software to you today, okay?
Okay.
Now it's better?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the main method. This is the entry point basically. Program will not execute from here. No, program will execute from a main method. Got it?
Yes.
So without object, we cannot call any function or member function. Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, we need to create object. And what is the name of class?
Name of the class is room.
Yes. Like here we have to mention room, then object name, we can mention any name. I mention obj is equal to new.
Object.
Yeah. Room, basically new is the operator which assign runtime memory, whatever the required. Okay.
Instructors are, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the object of room class. And this object contain copy of this class, all member function and instance variable. Okay.
Okay.
So with the help of this object, I can call any method, for example, obj.input. Okay.
Okay.
Like this, it will call input function. obj.output,
Output.
it will call output function. Got it?
Yeah.
And I have given you a definition. Class is a user defined data type. We can combine or add any number of data member and member function. But if I'm asking you what is the definition of encapsulation, can you tell me?
In encapsulation, we are going to hide the information.
No. We can hide the information in abstraction, not encapsulation. Okay.
Okay, like we are like uh,
Okay.
we can only access through methods. I mean, like,
Do you know? Do you know a capsule which doctor gives us?
yeah,
What a capsule contain what?
capsule containing a cover that protects inside medicine.
Yeah, it protects medicine within a cover, right?
Yes.
So in the same way, encapsulation, okay?
Okay.
Encapsulation is a process combining data member and member function and
Member function.
member function into a single unit, that is class. Basically, class is a cover and data member and member function are medicine. Got it?
Got it.
Now it's easy to remember.
Yeah.
So any confusion between class and encapsulation?
So class is like a user defined data type. In this, like we can add any data
Okay.
in, yeah, any data. I mean, like functions. I mean, functions or methods, so on. So in encapsulation, we are like uh, combining both the data member and member function.
Exactly.
Yeah, so in A, B, those are going to be the data members and void input, public void input. So we are making it as a single unit.
Exactly. So we can run this program, compile this program. In this software, you don't write to type Java C. I will press Control+1, it will compile the program.
Okay.
Okay, program is compiled. When we compile the program, what happened? Tell me.
It will go through each and every line. After one line, it will compile each and every single line.
Okay, if everything is fine, what will happen?
Then everything, if it's fine, I mean, like we can run the program.
No. Yeah, we can run the program, but it's the most important thing you skipped. That is bytecode.
Okay, bytecode.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, another feature is platform independent. So
Okay.
it generates bytecode. Okay.
Okay.
So unlike other programming languages such as C, C++, which are compiled into platform-specific machine, Java is guaranteed to be write once and run anywhere. If you compile, then you can run anywhere. On compilation, Java program is compiled into bytecode. Okay.
Okay.
What is bytecode? For example, you have a program first.java, and in our example, program name is room.java. When it is compiled, a new file will be generated. Its extension will be dot class. Okay.
Okay.
This dot class basically a bytecode, and that bytecode can run any operating system on Windows also, Mac also, Linux also.
Okay.
That makes Java is a platform independent. Platform means operating system. You can run your Java program on any operating system after compilation.
Yeah.
What is the reason? Bytecode. Okay.
Okay.
Now I have compiled this program. See, now I will check a bytecode is generated or not. Okay.
Okay.
For example, I save this program, this folder C. This is the Java and this is dot class. Suppose I'm going to delete this bytecode. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to compile again and it will again generate bytecode. Okay.
Okay.
See, practically I just want to show you. There are two files. It's visible to you.
Yeah.
See, now I'm going to compile and immediately bytecode will be generated. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to compile it. See.
Yeah. Room.class.
Because it's a bytecode, it's generated after compilation. It is a very important concept.
Okay.
Got it? Any confusion?
No.
Okay. Just wait. Yeah. Now it's fine. So we were discussing features of Java. I think now we have discussed 2 or 3 features like simple, object oriented, object, class, encapsulation. What is abstraction?
Abstraction. Yeah. The same.
Abstraction basically hiding main feature. For example, you are driving a car. Okay.
Okay.
You know how.
Yeah. The main feature that is useful for like users.
Yes. Like steering,
Yeah.
clutch, speed, brake. You can operate it, but internally how it works, you don't know.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
For example, you are using WhatsApp. You are going to share status, and sometimes you make status private to show only particular people, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, abstraction is implemented because you set the status private, okay, to particular people. In that way, if I change its access specifier, for example, I make this data member private, okay,
Okay.
then I can't access these data member into another class because these are private.
Okay.
So here, what are you doing? You are implementing abstraction.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yes.
If you make this data member private, so you are basically internally implementing abstraction because you can't access into another class and you are hiding this data member.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
And what is polymorphism?
Polymorphism.
Yes.
Yeah. And polymorphism is like many forms.
Like?
Uh, it is like available in many forms. So, what we say, like, I mean, like, there are two types of polymorphisms, and okay, displaying one thing in more than one form is polymorphism.
For example, you are drawing any shape. Shape can be rectangle, shape can be circle, shape can be square, shape can be line. Okay.
Yeah.
So this thing
Yeah.
we can implement in Java.
Yeah.
And inheritance, what is inheritance? We discussed in first class also.
Yeah, inheritance is like uh, one class is getting properties from other class,
Mm-hmm.
is acquiring all the properties from parent class is called inheritance.
Okay.
So there are different types of inheritance: single, multi-level, multiple, multi-path. I mean hierarchical and hybrid.
Okay.
Yeah. So like basically an object is inheriting the properties from other object.
Okay. And what is the problem in inheritance, in multiple inheritance? We discussed in last section. Do you remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me.
Multi-level inheritance.
No, no, no. Multi-level inheritance is fine. We can increase any number of level. For example, property of A transfer to B class, then property of B shifted to class C and C to D. That's no problem. There is
Okay.
also a problem in multiple inheritance. There are two independent parent classes. Remember?
Yeah.
Tell me.
So like first will be like ambiguity in the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing is like giving the results like different results will get for the same input we may get.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean like you gave an example. Okay, the example is okay. So like there will be like confusion like in giving the answers, two right answers for the same
Exactly. Exactly. For example, there are two classes, class A and class B.
B.
And in class A, there is a variable name is Ram. Okay.
Okay.
In B class, also one student's name is Ram.
Ram.
When there is another class is C. Okay.
Okay.
So there is a combined class A and B sit together into class C. Okay.
Okay.
When a teacher is going to take attendance, teacher is asking by name Ram, then both students will raise their hand in class A and class B also, then it will be very difficult to identify by teacher, right?
Okay.
So this is the ambiguity present in multiple inheritance. Got it?
Okay.
So we can remove this ambiguity with new feature, that is interfaces. So we will learn interfaces also.
Okay.
I think now it's clear what is multiple inheritance and what is the main problem we were facing in C++.
Yes.
But in Java, multiple inheritance is not possible, but indirectly we can implement with the help of interfaces.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
So there are four types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance. Okay.
Okay.
What is platform independent? I have already discussed. Kindly tell me.
Yeah, I mean we can run the program anywhere, like on any platform.
Hmm.
I mean not just one platform in like Windows, Mac, or Linux.
Okay. So how it's possible with the help of bytecode and its extension is dot class.
Yeah, yeah, with the bytecode. When after the compilation, it goes with the bytecode.
Yes.
So when the bytecode is implemented, and then so it can run on any mission, like any platform.
Okay. And next feature is secured. Java is very secure language. Okay. Yes, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your voice is a little bit low.
Yeah, I will increase the sound.
Yes, can
Actually,
you
I
speak
just
loudly?
yeah. Now you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your voice is little bit low. I'm saying to you.
Okay. Okay, I'll. Now it's good.
Now, yeah, now it's better.
Okay.
Okay. So next feature is secure. Java is very secure language. You study the concept of pointer in C language.
Yeah.
So what was pointer
Pointers in Java or C?
in C?
In C, it is like we use it for address of for other variable.
Okay. It
So
store the address of any variable, right?
yeah.
That is very dangerous, because if we know the address of anyone, then we can approach directly, right?
Yeah.
There is no security. So this is the reason pointer is not available in Java.
Okay.
And Java is very secure language. Okay, this is the first reason. Second reason, Java program run inside virtual machine sandbox.
Okay.
There are three terms used in Java: JDK, Java Development Kit; JRE, Java Runtime Environment; third is JVM, Java Virtual Machine.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so these are two scenarios. In one, first scenario, we are discussing about C++ application. In second scenario, we are discussing about Java application. Okay,
Okay.
in C++, uses runtime environment of operating system, but in Java, application inside JVM, and JVM also inside of operating system.
Okay.
And there is a concept of class loader. In class loader in Java, basically add security by separating the package for the classes of local file system from those that are imported from network sources. For example, you are downloading any file, okay,
Okay.
from internet. So it will be separated. How? With the help of class loader. Because class loader adds security by separating the package for the classes of the local file system from those that are imported from network sources.
Okay.
We already discussed about bytecode, but there is another mechanism is available, that is bytecode verifier. Check the code fragment for illegal code that can violate access right to object. Okay.
Okay.
And another feature is security manager determines what resources class can access, such as reading or writing a local text. So these are the three main features which makes Java is a secure language. First, most important thing, no explicit pointer available. Okay. It means you cannot access any memory location.
Okay.
Another feature is sandbox machine. In sandbox machine, these three parameters work: class loader, bytecode verifier, and security manager. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. And this PPT I will provide to you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Next feature is robust. Robust means strong. Okay.
Okay. Robust means strong. Okay.
Yeah. Robust simply means strong. Java uses strong memory management. There are lack of pointer that avoid security problem. There is a automatic garbage collection in Java. There is a exception handling and type checking mechanism in Java. In later on, we will discuss exception handling and type checking mechanism also. Okay.
Okay.
So you can say Java is a robust language, and the most important feature is architecture neutral. What is the meaning of architecture neutral? Let's discuss. Okay.
Okay.
Basically, there are two types of operating system: 32-bit architecture and 64-bit. Okay.
Okay.
There is no implementation dependent feature. Size of primitive type is fixed. See, if I talk about C programming, int data type occupy 2 byte of memory for 32-bit architecture and 4 byte for memory for 64-bit architecture. Okay.
Okay.
So memory size vary depending upon architecture. For 32, it was consuming 2 byte. In 64, it was consuming 4 byte. But if you talk about Java, it consumes same memory. Okay, in Java, it occupies 4 bytes of memory for both 32-bit and the 64-bit architecture. This is the reason Java is a architecture neutral. Got it?
Got it.
So what are the features we have discussed till now? Can you tell me the names?
So first we discussed about the class,
Hmm.
and then abstraction,
Okay.
encapsulation,
Yes.
inheritance, polymorphism, and then the security.
Okay.
I mean platform independentness,
Yes.
and yeah, architecture neutral.
Yes. Next is multi-threading.
Yeah.
Okay. We can make any problem, we can divide any problem into sub-problem. Okay.
Okay.
So Java multi-threading feature makes it possible to write program that can do many tasks simultaneously. We can divide any task into subtasks and that will perform simultaneously. They cannot perform simultaneously, but it seems they are performing simultaneously because their speed is too fast. Okay.
Okay.
Benefit of multi-threading is that it utilizes same memory and other resources to execute multiple thread at the same time, like while typing, grammatical error are checked alone. This is the best example. Okay.
Okay.
So we will discuss later, and there are two type of thread. One is we can create thread using thread class. We can create thread using runnable interface, and we will discuss life cycle of multi-threading. We will discuss synchronization issue in multi-threading. Okay.
Okay.
Priority of thread also in multi-threading. These are the subtopics which we will discuss later on. This is the just definition of multi-threading.
Okay.
Or I need to mention here, like first we will learn introduction, okay,
Okay.
of multi-threading. Second, how many ways we can create threads in Java. There are two ways. Okay.
Okay.
Thread class and runnable interface.
Okay.
Third, life cycle of thread we will discuss also. Okay.
Okay.
Fourth, priority of thread. Fifth,
Yeah.
synchronization in threads. Got it? These are the topics we will discuss in multi-threading and practical also. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. Next is exception handling. Very important topic we discussed in last lecture. I just want to ask you, there are two scenarios. In first scenario, we are handling exception. Second scenario, we are not handling exception. What is the difference?
Sorry.
What
Try
is,
catch method. I mean,
yeah.
one is try catch.
I'm asking to you, for example, there are two programs. In one program, you are handling the exception. In second program, you are not handling the exception. Then what will impact on output?
So if we are handling the exception, so if there is any error,
Okay.
so then it will show that there is a error, like we can easily recognize it.
Okay.
So without exception handling, the just it will throw an error.
Just it throw an error. What is the difference between error and exception?
So exception, we will know at where we got that. We can in the catch. I mean, like in the catch, we can write the exception.
Okay. If you will not
Part.
handle the exception, then whole program will be crashed,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
If we want, if there is some problem in our program, we will handle, and rest of the program should working fine. Then we need to handle the exception. There are a number of ways we can implement exception handling. First method is using try catch. Okay, try catch, finally. Second method, throws keyword.
Yeah.
Throws keyword. Third method is difference between. Tell me. We discussed in last lecture also.
Difference between both.
Between throw and throws keyword. Got it? We will discuss. Fourth, user defined exception.
Okay.
User defined
Exception.
exception. These are the topics we will discuss.
Okay.
Got it? I think now you have enough idea about features of Java.
Yeah.
Any doubt till now?
I mean, like the thing you explained, I don't have any doubt.
Okay.
Like now I will like learn, I mean, revise it. So if I get any doubts, I will ask you in the next lecture.
Yeah, sure, sure. I will provide you these notes also and recorded lecture also. Okay.
Yeah.
And we can also divide exception handling into this category. The main class is throwable. Okay. Parent class.
Okay.
There are two subclasses. One is exception, another is error.
Okay.
All exception that can be handled come under this. That is exception.
Okay.
Exception subclass is runtime exception. So what is the difference between exception, runtime exception, and error? Exception class is an exceptional condition that program should catch. Okay.
Yes.
This class is extended to create user-specific exception class. And runtime exception is a subclass of exception, and exception under this class are automatically defined for program.
Okay.
And there are two other name of exception. One is checked exception and another name is unchecked exception. Okay.
Okay.
Checked means compiled time exception.
Okay.
See, C for checked, C for compiled. Okay, you can remember.
Yeah.
Another is unchecked exception. Unchecked exception, we can say runtime exception. So there are two types of exception. One is checked exception, another is the unchecked exception. Checked exception comes under the category of compiled exception. Okay.
Okay.
And unchecked comes under the category of a runtime exception. Got it? So don't worry, we will discuss each and every topic with detail and practical.
Okay.
This is just introduction and features of Java. I try my best to understand to you and explain in detail.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Any doubt?
No.
You can ask me any question, and you can do self study also. Out of this syllabus, you can also ask me question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And I will share with you this setup to install on your system, so you can perform, or you can compile and run program very easily on your system. Okay.
Yeah.
Rather than typing every time Java C program name .java.
Okay. So this timings, like if you're comfortable with this timing, like I mean, we can continue this time furtherly.